All right, let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about this North Carolina basketball team. I mean, to me, it is what it is at this point. We know what they are, we know what they can't do, and this game was like just another example of that, right? It's RJ Davis, and it's nobody else. He's not getting consistent enough help. The big play inside has been obviously underwhelming. Jarrell, when you sort of watch them play, and again, this you thought, if you're going to be optimistic about it, this is like the moment. Like, let's go on into this place. Let's kind of turn our season around. And you're just dead from the jump. When you diagnose the issues, where does it start?
I mean, it starts with this being a team with, I mean, really no identity. So I think you kind of got to start it. You got to start it there. And in college basketball, for you to have a group of guys, regardless of the talent level, that aren't locked in and they kind of know where their bread is buttered and what they're gonna do well, and I mean, attacking different game plans or what your focus is coming into a game night in night out, then you're gonna struggle. And like you said, right now we just, I mean, you could shoot R.J. Davis in for 15 to 20 points, uh, but we've been able to do that the last couple of years, and it hasn't been this way. So that's no surprise, but like it just looks like a team that's wandering aimlessly to me. They don't have answers. They can't find answers. They can't guard anybody. Uh, their guard play has been lackluster to say the least. For them to have so many small guards out there and guys that are somewhat defensive liabilities, they haven't taken care of the ball well. None of them are shooting a great percentage. Even R.J. Davis is probably having one of his worst shooting seasons in his career as well too. And this is a guy that's actually been putting up the numbers. So I mean, it's more questions than answers right now with UNC. But I'll tell you one thing, and I don't know, it's just starting to kind of rub me the wrong way, because I feel like now we're at the point now where we're almost trying to talk these guys into an NCAA tournament bid. Like the fact
Mm,
that they're even still in contention right now at 14 and 11 is wild to me. And the ACC is down, and they just don't. I mean, they have Duke left. Who else are they going to be outside of the ACC tournament that's going to really move the needle for their hopes? Like, they needed to win this game tonight, and to be honest with you, they probably would have still needed to run the table, handle business against some other bad teams in the league, and win those games, just stack up wins and get 20 wins, and you at least give yourself a chance. But just as far as quality, man, we kind of almost talking them into. I mean, they haven't really beat anybody good.
right, right. I mean, you said it. I mean, you don't get a lot of opportunities in the ACC. It's like strange as shit to say that. Like it's
Yeah,
so
it
weird.
is.
Like, I feel like I'm talking about Memphis and the American almost. Like you only get like 2 or 3 games to improve your
Right.
resume. The rest of it's gonna. But RC, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on North Carolina were before the season started. I saw them in Memphis for the exhibition, and I thought they looked okay. I don't know, how high my hopes were relative to what you thought they would be, though. How disappointing are the Tar Heels this season in your eyes?
Tonight was the first time I thought when they got punched, I didn't think they competed and punched back. That was the first time. I mean, this team has been down throughout the year, early in the year, and they battled back. Like for Carolina early in the year to fall down 15, they always came back. Whenever they felt they were spotting teams, it was like a running joke. They spot you, but then they come back and make a game out of it. Even the games they lost, they didn't win all these games, but they came back. Obviously, the Dayton game they won, but they would fall behind big in games, and they would always rally. Tonight was the first time they looked like the losing is starting to take its toll. All the negativity is starting to take its toll.
Mm,
When they failed out early this game, it just didn't look like they were like, man, we ain't got it tonight. Like they conceded it. It looked like, and that was the only time I can say about it. Where they felt like they've had a chance. We're talking about their record, and they're 14 and 11. Can you imagine how much worse it would be had they not? I think they stole a game in BC. The BC was an inbound play from literally winning that game, and they won it. But again, BC was up on that. And
Yeah.
let's not think about the Notre Dame game where Elliot Cadeau gets a 4-point play. I mean, those are two games that they took, they won from struggling teams, and credit to them for winning those games. But we're talking about this loss tonight could have put them below 500. They could have been 12 and and 13. That would have been like you couldn't imagine the distractions and stuff that's coming out of that will be coming out of Chapel Hill. Um, but that's the only thing I'd say about today's game. They just
Right.
didn't compete, fight back when they were down, when that had become a staple in their style of play, that they would be able to come back and compete or make a game out of it, make a run. This game, once they made that run in the first half, I never thought it was just like, man, I'm just sitting there watching. They were done. There was no coming back from this.
But I mean, isn't that like on some level, like how does it get to that point where it's one run and we're dead, right? Like, how does it
Listen,
get to that point?
they've been in this all year, though. We can say what we want, and you throw away Carolina, you throw away all the name and the hype, and throw away the expectations. This is what we've seen from them majority of the year, and I think it's um, the only thing that's keeping them in the positive conversation is just their scheduling, and you give them the benefit of the doubt because of the scheduling. Well, that they can't count on that anymore because I don't know how many more wins they're going to have on their schedule that can help them. We know we got one more game against Duke. I don't like their odds at all in that game. Um, and who else? They play Wake only once. Um, not without their schedule in front of me, looking at their schedule, I don't know how many games that they're actually going to have that could give them a chance to build on their resume.
Yeah, that's why I think
Syracuse, NC State, Virginia,
Yeah,
Virginia Tech, Miami,
no,
and Duke.
but
none of those.
but here's the thing though, and this is where we just got to keep it a buck, right? If they run the table, which they could, right? If they run the table, they'll be in the tournament. Just because
No,
they're North Carolina.
no,
They will.
no,
They will be in the tournament. They will
no,
be in the tournament.
no,
They will be in the
no,
tournament. Play in.
no,
Play in. 100% play in.
no, no,
Why
no.
not? It's Carolina, bro. It's the brand. You got to have
Man,
eyeballs in these playing
stop,
games.
stop, stop,
I mean,
stop.
I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist, but like you really don't believe that North Carolina would get in because of the brand, bro. You really don't think so?
Not like against who? How?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who their resume is going to be next to on that play-in spot, right? But if it's close and it's like a group of 5 team or somebody that's outside the power structure, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the cynic in me. Maybe I'm wrong to think that, but I just feel like they'll say, "Oh, KenPom, they're 42." We need people to watch these. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off base. They're not deserving. I'm not making the case they're deserving. Just saying that the silver spoon.
If that's the
just fed.
case, if that's the case, if they get in, then the ACC is going to get 5 teams or 6 teams in at that point because you got to say SMU and Wake got to go in at some point ahead of
Yeah.
them, right? At some point we got to start having those are real conversations. I get the scheduling, the strength of schedule and everything, but at some point, it's getting to a point where tonight's game was just a bad taste in their mouth, losing to the top. You're talking about the Duke loss and then the Clemson loss. Those were beatdowns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, when we talked about this schedule, there's nothing left for them to boost the resume. Can they win out? I don't know. The problem will be, who can they beat in the ACC tournament to help boost their resume? Because they're going to get in the tournament and they're going to have to beat a team or two, and then I would say they get in. But if the season ends right now and they lose another game or two, then I don't know where I can't see right now. But again, it's not official yet. They need to potentially run the table to give themselves a chance.
Yeah.